Greetings Vultures, another bird eye review show for your perusal, this time from Mumbai. Maximum City is desperate to get back to business, and with cafes and restaurants due to open in October, I couldn't be happier. No word yet though on cinemas, so for this episode let's keep it strictly online and let's keep those masks on because this episode is very COVID heavy.
Hey, listen.
I'll be talking about Corona cartoons, an entire web series made from Zoom chats, and the first film to be shot in London post-Corona lockdown.
दुनिया में तबाही मचा दी है.
But before I divulge our trio of OTT tantalizers, it's time for the news. The International Emmy Award nominations have been released, and it's good news for two Indian-based serials and an actor. Delhi Crime on Netflix has been nominated in the Best Drama category, whilst in the Best Comedy section appears Four More Shots Please, kind of Sex in the City for Mumbai, shown on Amazon Prime, and last but not least, actor Arjun Matta for his role of Karamira in Made in Heaven, another score for Amazon Prime. Talking of scoring, the big news of B-Town that I keep seeing splashed over Facebook is that of Deepika Padukone being questioned by the ACV in relation to drugs and the death of Sushant Singh Rajput. Other actors caught in the crossfire include Sara Ali Khan and Shraddha Kapoor, who were also questioned. And going back to the OTTs, despite Netflix getting it right with Delhi Crime, some of the Indian-made content is pretty terrible. That's according to Anupama Chopra, and she said it straight to co-CEO Ted Sarandos of Netflix. His response? At the beginning, there's always a lot of trial and error. And now we go from news to reviews. First up, the first film to be shot in London straight after lockdown.
अभी दुनिया इस तूफान से निकल ही रही है, तो नई अफवाहें शुरू हो गई हैं. एक उससे भी जानलेवा वायरस चाइना और इंडिया के बॉर्डर पर फैलना शुरू हो चुका है.
London Confidential, The Chinese Conspiracy, is a English spy thriller set on the grey streets of London, all about double agents and Chinese involvement in a global pandemic.
और वो इस बात का सबूत लंदन में होने वाली कॉन्फ्रेंस में देने को तैयार है.
I'll be honest, for me it's good to see London on screen.
लंदन CCTV का शहर है.
Even if it is a little bit greyer than usual thanks to the colorising in post-production. The style of shooting and editing, I think, is much more in line with a series rather than a film. It's fast, action-packed. It feels like the actors were literally plonked at Vauxhall bus station right at the beginning and the cameras just started rolling, mingling in with unsuspecting members of the public. I wonder if the outdoor scenes were actually more guerrilla than usual due to the restrictions maybe with COVID. If only I could speak to somebody who actually worked on it.
A lot of technology we used on this, like we were editing and grading as we filming, so we just could deliver the film within a month.
1 month of edit time before you've got a feature film?
Yeah, post 1 month, including everything from the VFX to grading to edit, the sound, the dubbing, everything.
This is not normal, isn't it? For people watching this Zoom,
but
they're going to be thinking maybe films are made like that all the time. This is not in any way normal. Why was there such a push to get it done so fast?
The thing was, it was more a studio decision to catch on to the concept of that COVID. Still, it's relevant because the story is based on Chinese conspiracy and COVID and all that. So it was quite a nice way to get into where everybody's talking about there was problems in the border with China, there was COVID all around, and yes, so we wanted to catch that, and they gave us a deadline that it has to go on streaming on 18th of September, and we managed it. It was a small team, but it was quite efficient because we were staying in a bubble, we are not interacting with anybody else, and it was stressful to start with because this was something new for all of us. So we had to do temperature checks every day. We had a COVID officer on set. We took COVID test for everybody so that nobody comes in. And luckily, everybody tested negative, which was quite good.
If you want to watch the full interview, you can click here. And if you're in a clicky kind of mood, why not also click on YouTube and the bell icon to subscribe to our channel.
Country is a huge melting pot.
If you want to watch London Confidential, then you've got to head over to Z5 and see if you agree with my 2.5 stars out of 5.
कहाँ से शुरू करें?
Still here? Nice. Next up, some COVID-themed animations. Yes, this lockdown has been a great time for animators, quite used to sitting inside on their own, easily working from home.
हम तो बस प्रवासी हैं, क्या इस देश के वासी हैं?
Production company Climb Media has created a series of short films to highlight the plight of migrant workers and the socially disadvantaged during COVID.
I wonder then, why? Why did you let us go?
The films themselves were released on YouTube and Instagram and have been shared widely across social media. The small team of creators was headed up by filmmaker/storyteller Kirit Khurana. Khurana is known as a director for Tea for Taj Mahal, which world premiered at the London Indian Film Festival in 2018. Over the years, he's also created a slew of award-winning public service films. It stands to reason then that a global pandemic, which has caused the loss of livelihood and life, would be on his radar for putting into film form. But why as an animation?
They're not really animation, they're more like graphic form of portraying reality. And I think the graphicness is what leaves behind a deeper mark in terms of a greater sort of mark in the psyche.
And what was your hope then for the three films individually? Because they are focused on different aspects of the struggle of people within India. So what did you hope from each film would come about?
So the first one, Pravasi, of course, is on migrants, and then subsequently I collaborated on a similar film called Safar. Safar is essentially also, Safar means journey, and journey, Pravasi means migrant, and that was basically about the missing migrants. It's about how we know that the houses that have been built by the migrants, and the roads that we drive our cars on have been built by the migrants. And they are not there. They are there and they are not there yet. You know, you can feel their soul, you can feel their presence. You can feel their aura, but they're really not there.
We never brought up that the rickshaw you sit in is powered by our lungs.
And dialogue is all about, we call ourselves a tolerant nation, and we talk about our culture as being one of the most tolerant cultures, and then why are we tolerating this, and why are we doing this, and why are we doing that?
Our constitution upholds equality for all. Then why are we torn by sectarian brawl?
All the three films have been accepted by and large with all kinds of people. I mean, there's no divide there. It's not like films are getting trolled by one section of the people and they're being appreciated with the others. There's no left or right there. It's just everything that is right in the center, and it's a humanity, and it's about you gotta agree that whatever happened with the migrants is not okay. You gotta agree that whatever is happening, this that is happening is not okay, and everybody needs to condemn it together. And that common ground is what we created with these films.
All right, Kirit, listen, thank you so much for sparing the time this afternoon. And let's keep in touch. We'd love to hear more about what you're up to and keep a dialogue going between you and Asian Culture Vulture.
Yes, thank you so much.
Our longer, unedited interview is available here. Head to the Climb Media YouTube channel to see all three films and the fourth coming very soon. For the idea, execution and social messaging, I give 3.5 stars out of 5 for the lockdown films. Finally, no more Zoom chats. Let's just watch a serial on Amazon Prime.
Our marriage is broken.
Be direct.
I want a divorce.
Ah! Another Zoom. Wakaalat from Home is a courtroom comedy without the courtroom. But, thankfully, some comedy.
He has slept with so many women.
मेरे क्लाइंट को लगता है कि उनकी बीवी लेस्बियन है.
We all have hobbies.
The four main actors play a divorcing couple and their respective legal representatives.
I'm representing Mrs. Sujin Kohli. Representing Miss Radhika Sen is.
I'm Lobo Tripathi.
With no cutaways or background music, this series, not a one-off, of 10 episodes, lives or dies by its scripting. And thankfully, because when you're reviewing, you really have to keep watching, no matter what you think. It is enjoyable. Directed by Rohan Sippy, son of Ramesh Sippy, who directed blockbuster Sholay, the series centres on the divorce proceedings of Sujin and Radhika, played by Sumit Vyas and Nidhi Gupta.
What are you saying? Uska laptop freeze ho gaya.
In the true spirit of the new normal and people working from home, their divorce does not take place in court, but at home. In fact, the real-life homes of the actors.
नहीं माँ अंडे वाले से बात नहीं करो मेरा केस चल रहा है.
Your Honor.
Your Highness.
What I also found interesting was the crediting of the actors, not only with acting, but with things like costume and hair and makeup, because they basically did it all. Nidhi Gupta took things to extremes, where she actually cut her own fringe for one of the episodes.
She's sneezing.
And I think it looks quite nice. All actors, although not super famous, are experienced in theatre, TV and film, with Kubra Seth being in my eyes the most familiar. She plays Sujin's lawyer Rajini Thakkar, and before was known for being in Sacred Games as the very memorable Cuckoo. As concepts go, I found it intriguing. In these preceding months of global lockdown, as an audience, I think we're more forgiving of these newer tester concepts and really quite attuned to watching Zoom meetings for our own entertainment. I felt actually like I was watching a theatre performance, a play. There was no background music, no cutaways, no grandiose sets, and that with me is perfectly fine. I want more experimental content in COVID times or not. Therefore, 3.5 stars.
I'm done with this.
अरे कोई है? Hello.
That is all for this episode. Make sure you mark in your diaries from October 7th, the London Film Festival. Our team in London will be covering it, so check out the website asianculturevulture.com to find out more. Until we meet again, Culture Vultures, fly free.